All right, we're back again in Civil Discourse. This is Sebastian, and this is Brian. We're going to have a few little discussions here. I think we're going to start off with immigration. Illegal immigration versus legal immigration. In terms of, for example, you immigrated here from another country, right? Yeah. And my grandfather did. I'm pro-immigration. But what would you say the positives and the negatives are? And we're going to get to you because there are economic factors, obviously, that are tied into all this. Legal versus illegal.
The plus and minuses?
Yeah.
So
off the top of your head, yeah.
Plus for legal?
Yeah.
I think people can walk with their heads up, you know, they can say what's on their mind. I mean, that's what makes this nation great.
The influx of people and ideas.
The influx of people and ideas coming in, and also if they're legally here, they can say what's on their mind and what's on their soul, basically. They can express themselves freely. Versus when you come here illegally, which I would never do, you can't say anything.
And you told me you joined the military so you could feel that pride, right?
Well, I came here totally legal,
right,
and I joined the military. And the reason why I joined the military, because I wanted to be part of the society. And I don't know anyone, any apologies being here, or stepping on their foot, sorry to say this to whomever it's out there. And I want to walk with my head off, you know, that's it. You know, whatever it's on my soul and on my mind, I can say out freely. And that's what makes this nation great. That's it, you know, that's on my part. Now, the pluses of illegal immigration for some people is they can take advantage of that. And I'm saying here like labor and all that, which we all know about it. But why can they do that? Because the system allows them to do that.
Right.
So is that, it would be my fault if I hire someone who's illegally here? You know, I don't care, you know, like he does the job for $5 versus the other one who does it for 15. I'm going to, again, you know, it's poor economics, and I'm going to go with the guy who does a better job for 5 than for 15.
But are you not hurting your competition? What I'm saying is, let's say you both own a factory. I'm not saying you care
exactly.
about it.
That's the point.
But we have two businesses.
Yes.
One gentleman is hiring illegals here, and he's paying them half the amount of money.
Right.
He's not paying anything for their health care. Any, what am I thinking about? Like vacation, nothing.
Right.
They're just getting strictly an hourly wage.
That's called human trafficking.
Yeah.
And why is that? Whose fault is that?
Yeah, but the fault is very deep. I mean, there's probably 10 faults along the way, right?
I'm telling you, and I'm bringing back another example from, I'm not saying from my country,
yeah.
But I went to help my uncle in Austria to build his house.
Okay.
And helicopters were hovering, you know, with construction sites, picking up illegals, you know, because in Europe, Romanians are illegals when they go to other countries.
Yeah.
They used to be, and they work, you know, under the table, right? And then everybody descended, and he was like, okay, now I have to stop work. But I'm like, I'm a family member, I'm happy, you're not even paying me.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I can get in trouble with the law. You know, so there it's enforced to protect the local labor force.
But, you know, let me ask Brian this. I mean, you know, what happens to the economy if every company in the United States starts hiring illegal aliens at $5 an hour instead of $15? Imagine that the whole population of workers are illegals. What happens to our economy?
First of all, taxes are being paid.
Well, you do have the tax issue, but more importantly, then you also don't, if you're replacing the American let's say you replace the American workforce with illegal immigrants purely, okay? Then you also have fewer people that be able to pay in to the country, not just in the form of taxes, but being able to pay for goods and services. Mm-hmm. Now, while you do have people that are filling these jobs, the illegal immigrants, I guess you can call them, or displaced immigrants, if you want to do that, who would be taking over these roles instead, they're doing it at lower wages, which means that they also would be paying less. They would also be paying less for goods and services. In a lot of situations, or a lot of instances, from my understanding, they're paying their money they're making, their wages, goes back home to their native country. Because again,
that's great.
Yeah, which is great for them because again, dollar goes further over there, doesn't do anything do as much over here. So that would be the economic impact that you're looking at it for.
So that would be a net loss, though, for us, the U.S.
Potentially, but there's other things to consider as well. So as you're saying before, what are the benefits to immigration, illegal or not legal, or whatever terms we want to use here? the biggest impact I could think of is increased diversity, which you kind of hinted on a little bit there.
Right.
So diversity of thought, diversity of opinion. We look at some of the things that we were creating in this country. Space program, for example, got off here mainly because after World War II, we brought in a lot of scientists from Germany, from Europe, and we contribute to that program. We were able to culturally identify, or we're trying to apply the culture, or rather align with each other better culturally, because we're able to see how other people live and work and have greater access to thought. So while there's definitely going to be an issue from the economic aspect where you're going to have a net loss, at least initially, there's also the potential where you can actually have greater thought or you have other ideas coming in that creates new industries and new businesses. Now, of course, this is a complete hypothetical, but the capacity for that is there. But we're also, since we're talking about that aspect of things, you're talking about having a program where everybody's being placed with workers that did not access the country through legal means. Again, this is completely hypothetical, which wouldn't happen. So,
but it's optimal. I believe that everybody should be, we'll use the word documented here. That true in a country, you should know who everybody is, where they're from, and then whether they've got here on a short-term visa, or if they revamp the system, which would be great, a 6-month visa, if someone come work for 6 months, coming for a year, 2 years, or let's say they're coming and they want to actually become an American citizen. Great. It should be simpler.
in theory, but why? Okay, so that does sound great in theory, and I understand some of the economic aspects, why you don't want free riders and everything. You don't want free riders in the system.
These people, we're not talking, they're not free riders. They work hard for that little $5.
No, when I say free riders, I mean in the sense that you don't want people in the system that are, again, here they work hard for the $5, but at the same time they're not paying back any other services.
They can't.
Right.
They can't afford.
And I agree with you on that. But at the same time, though, why do I care who's in the country? I mean, and I don't say that in the sense like I want someone here that's a danger. But in my day-to-day life, how do I know whether someone's aspect? If I never heard you speak before, I would just say, oh, this is just a white guy just walking around. I would assume that you were born and raised here or something like that, and then I hear your backstory. So really, what we talk about, maybe that's not what you really meant by it, but it's just sometimes when you say, why do we care who's in the country? It really implies, for the most part, it applies to people that aren't white in most instances.
Well, but when you say not white, but over 70% of Hispanics self-identify as white, right? That is true. So over 70% self-identify as white. I don't care what color someone is, but my point is, if someone is here illegally and driving a car, the odds are they don't have insurance on that car. So if they hit me, I'm screwed. Not they're screwed. But my point is, revamp the system, make it simple. I don't care if someone's from Central America. I couldn't care less. I have no negative or positive feelings one way or the other. I just think everyone should be documented. Well, what you're saying, yeah, it doesn't matter whether they're white or brown or they have Hispanic origins. And I think we've gotten to the point where we're saying Hispanic's a common language. There's not a skin color. I mean, you could take someone from Venezuela, Argentina, El Salvador, Mexico, Spain, and say they all speak Spanish, right? But the Spanish person from Spain is not Hispanic, I guess, because he's the only one who's not Hispanic. But all those other people are, so they're all different ethnic groups. You take someone from Panama who might have African ancestry and he's got Spanish ancestry. So what? If you come to the U.S., let's just get everybody documented.
That's how it was till 1953.
Okay. And I understand that, but at the same time, though, what's the history of our immigration laws in this country?
So going back to that, to the history, I had 2 grandfathers. They came to this country and they went back.
Wow.
And when they came in the 30s, they were legal here. It wasn't like anything illegal. They came to Ellis Island. One on my mom's side, one on my father's side, right? The one on my mom's side made it back, and he was an okay peasant there after that. But the one on my father's side, on the other hand, became a very rich person, because of the experience he was exposed here, during those 3 months. Wow. It was a very negative experience for him. Seriously, because it was hard.
No, yeah, of course.
It was hard, So now if you make all them legal, it's going to create a competition for jobs. It's going to be hard. Not all of them are going to stay. only the best of them are going to stay that can make ends meet. You know, they either work together as a community and they help each other out, or they either, you know, move up and they have better paying jobs. It's hard. Life is hard in this country. You have to work hard for everything.
No, I agree with that. What I'm saying,
And it would be beneficial for them and for us.
right,
And for everyone.
Well, what are you saying about the history? What was your-
So one of the first immigration laws that we had in this country was the Chinese Exclusion Act in the 1800s. And what that was is basically saying that you had people that are coming from China, really Asian countries, that they couldn't come over here to work. Part of the reason for that, or part of the rationale behind that we were told, is because you had expansion into the Western territories, and you wanted to make sure that there were opportunities available for American citizens over there. Of course, there's also the underlying aspect that, yes, race was involved with it, and that's...
Sure, we can look at Dred Scott, we could go back through history and look at all the racist laws that applied in this country. Absolutely, I agree with you. But right now, we can say people should be documented.
Right, so here's what I'm getting at with
Okay.
this too, though. Okay, so that's part of it. So we're taking that into account where we're looking at the history of it, and we're looking at why we put immigration laws in the first place. Okay, so why are these people excluded and not these other people? Okay, so yes, we do have the race aspect, and I do agree with you that we want to try to get as many people as documented as possible. But we also have to look as to why people are coming from their countries into the U.S. in the first place. So if we're looking at, for example, people from South America, Central America, what are some of the impacts that are happening over there? You might have had dictatorial regimes in some instances. You might have had
Civil War in El Salvador.
Exactly, you had those instances. You might have had the drug war that's happening over there. So you have a high degree of displacement. So actually, outside the U.S., really the country in this hemisphere that has the highest level of immigration is Mexico. A lot of that immigration is coming from South and Central America.
Right.
Why is that happening over there? Again, the situation is just civil war that happens over there. You have issues with the drug war over there. So
Why are they leaving? Why do you think they're leaving El Salvador?
I wonder with the economic conditions over there. I wonder how much it costs for people to just buy daily goods that they need for subsistence. over
Right,
there.
so they're coming here for a higher standard of living. We can assume that from an economic background. That's why you would come somewhere else, right?
So here's the question though: how is it that what has led to the economic conditions over there being what they are today?
There's probably a lot of factors. I mean, more factors than we would even know. But what's the solution though? Anyone from El Salvador who wants to come here, because pretty much they do, why shouldn't they be documented to come here? I have no problem with anyone from El Salvador. I mean, it doesn't matter to me where you're from.
No, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can go through and get through the document, go through the means to go get documented, and I agree with that. At the same time, the question I'm asking is, people that don't go through those processes, why are they doing that? What is the need to leave? And if that need is so great that you have to leave for it, then that's the question that I think that we should be asking.
But you know, I've read, and you know, you can say it's anecdotal or not, but interviews with guys from, for example, who live in Langley Park, people that live in Langley Park, and what happens to them. And if you're here illegally, you are vulnerable. They'll extort money from you because gangs will say, well, they're here illegally, I can get $100 a week from them. Their daughter's 15, I can get a good prostitute out of her. The boy is 12. It's about time he was recruited into my gang. So they're so vulnerable that I'm saying, whatever the documentation process is, and if you want to say just hand them a piece of paper that says you're documented, something.